Hey folks, Steve Abbott here. We're in Tuskegee, Alabama on a rather cool morning. We're at a field trial. And a lot of people know what a field trial is, but this is a little bit different, so I'm going to explain to you. It's still bird dogs, it's still quail, it's still all this, but it's a little bit different. In the field trials that you're familiar with, you ride a horse. Here you do not ride a horse, you walk. Also in the field trials that in Hurtsboro and all, they have the dog points. You walk up, you release the dog, you fire a blank pistol over his head or over him, and you release him. Well, here they actually shoot the bird, and the dog has to bring the bird back to him. So you have to retrieve. And so it's quite different in one respect, but it's close to the same in the other respect. We still got the same, like I say, the same bird dogs. The only thing about NASTRA, this is National Shoot to Retrieve, is that the dogs don't range out quite as far. And so we're gonna talk to some of these people. We're gonna look at some of the dogs, and we're gonna go over how they score these dogs, and then we're gonna get out there and see if we can see them shoot some. But I wanted to show you something right now. This fella is working with his dog, and he'll tell the dog to whoa, and he'll just stand there. Okay, thank you. Now, let's take a look at some of the dogs that are here. These dogs right here are English pointers. Now, when you think of a bird dog, this is what I normally think of as an English pointer. English pointers, they are pretty hyper. They're excellent bird dogs. They're easy to train. They don't make good pets. They are, as I say, they're pretty hyper. The next dog, let's walk up here. You see those back there with the short tails? Those are German short hairs. Now, they're excellent bird dogs. They're easy to train, but everyone I've had has always had a little attitude. So I don't usually use these as much as I do setters and Brittany's. We're gonna walk up here and look at some of the setters now. These are Brittany's. These dogs are small. They're really good hunting dogs. These are one of my favorites. They make good pets. They're just nice dogs, just really nice dogs. Now, these over here are pointers. Those sitting right over there are English setters. Now, you can see they're a lot calmer than the pointers were a while ago. A lot of times, if you see a picture of a fireplace and a gun leaned up against it, you'll see a setter coiled up in front of the fireplace, or you'll see a Brittany. You won't see a pointer. A pointer is too hyper and too active. Okay, let's go down, and I'm gonna get Bill Minton to explain to us about the way they grade the dog. Okay? Now, these guys are sitting in what they call the blind. Now, they're putting the birds out with this next brace, and they're sitting here waiting to go because they can't watch where they put the birds out, because it wouldn't be fair to anybody else for them to know where the birds are. So there's a Brittany there, and there's a German short hair over there. So anyway, they're waiting. In a few minutes, we'll watch these dogs take off. Now, this dog over here on the right, the German short hair, is really a good dog. I'm not familiar with this one, this Brittany on the left here. But I know the one on the right is really a good dog. The guy, the bird planter just left, I think, and he puts out 5 birds out here in the field. And the 2 dogs will come up in a minute, and you'll see them take off, and they have 30 minutes. And Harold judges them on, as the scoreboard over there showed, on the finds, on the obedience, on the retrieves, and there's some numbers that Harold goes by, upper and a lower unit.
That's right.
I guess. And, you know, he can give you real high or real low. It just depends on how the dog does.
And I like to give them real high.
Well, good. But
Can you tell us about what you do? Just tell us about yourself.
When I judge, well, we're looking for style and how well the dog obeys the handler, how snappy he is in his hunting, how quick he makes to retrieve, and we give them a score on each one of those. And at the end of the day, the dogs with the highest score are the dogs that win.
yeah.
Is everybody ready? Sure. Let them hunt.
There's 2 people in this field and 2 people in the B field. You have 2 hunters and then you have 2 judges. And the judges ride the 4-wheelers and they watch that dog every minute. And so when he points, if you see somebody raise their hand up or their hat up, that means there's a point. And so it's up to the judge to come up and judge him like we just saw on the fines and the way the dog, the obedience and et cetera and et cetera. But this field, I don't know, they're getting mighty close together down there. But anyway, you can see the two judges, you can see the 2 hunters there in the orange. But they'll be back this way in a minute and we'll maybe get a close-up shot of them.
Hi. You got it? I'm here. Here. Right here.
This is Bill Minton. Bill is from Georgia. Where? Up around Newnan,
Georgia.
Newnan, Georgia. Okay. And Bill is going to explain the process here about how the dogs are graded. You might want to go around on that side. I don't know, but just start right here and just explain this to us.
Every dog is scored. This is a fine. This is when the dog actually makes contact and points the bird, so he's scored on the fine.
So this means he found 3 birds and this
Right.
dog found 1 bird.
Right.
Okay, and this one, of course, 1 bird and this one's 2 birds. So they scored each fine. Okay.
Okay, this is retrieves here. So this dog is found, he had 3 retrieves.
And he got good scores here. And
Yeah.
this means he didn't retrieve right here.
Or no opportunity.
Or no
to
opportunity,
retrieve. He could have
yeah.
missed the bird there.
Right. He retrieved, but of course he found only 1 bird.
Right.
He shot the bird, he retrieved it.
Okay, these are the other scores. This is obedience score in this column. This dog got a 69, which is a pretty good score. This is the ground coverage column. He can make up to 100. So he got an 86 out of 100. That's not bad. This is a back. The dog can only score 1 back in a brace.
Now, you tell him what a back is.
That's when he honors another dog's point. So that means the other dog had a fine. This dog honored his fine. And he got a 70, so that's a very good score. 75 is tops for a back.
Okay, and this is the total of this.
This is the total score.
And
for the dog.
that's a good score there, 729. I'm looking at it upside down.
Here's the scorecard. It reflects the score sheet. That's what the judge uses.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
This is Neil Willis, dear friend of mine. I did not have any idea that I would run into him today. I started to call him, and then I, just kind of got.
I've been doing this about 30 years. My knees are gone, my money's gone.
Your money's not gone.
But I still got my dogs.
There you go. There you go. And your dog's doing extremely well. You're winning
Yeah,
on
so
on
far.
A.
So far.
Tell us about the training and the time that you have to put into these dogs.
Well, it's all about the birds. You start them at a young age, wool breaking them. You wool break them, and then you introduce them to birds. And you put birds out. Generally, you take them up on the check cord. Some people use traps, some people don't. And you just have to, once they're wool broke, you introduce them to birds, then the shot, and so forth. But it takes a while. It can take 3-4 months of training before a dog's ready to compete.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that the best training is in your backyard.
That's right.
I mean, you know, you got to get them to woo and all this.
They call that yard work.
Yard
They call it
work.
Yard work.
And so, you know, a lot of people think just bring them out here and train them, but that's not the case. Work them in the backyard every afternoon.
Yeah, it's called yard work. You get obedience, wooing, hearing, that kind of thing in your backyard. And then you introduce them to birds and so forth.
And then you take them to the field.
Right. I've been doing this about 30 years, and you'd think I'd be better at it, but I'm not. Okay.
He's really good. His dog right now is leading on a field.
Well,
So-
I got to run because I got to run
Okay.
him. Okay, nice talking
Thank
to
you.
you.
Okay.
Steve, I'll catch you.
Okay.
Thank you again.
This is George Gordon. George is the chairman of this field trial. Is that what you call yourself?
Yes, the chairman.
Chairman. How long have you been putting these trials on?
Well, we've been doing this for about 12 years.
12 years. You've
Yeah.
been fooling with bird dogs about all your life.
For about 40 years.
Yeah.
And as time passed by, I run into some people from Nashville, and they knew that they were members of Nashville. And they formed a chapter down here in Alabama, and I joined the chapter. Probably been about 15 years ago.
Well, actually, George was the one that got me into this because I was reading somewhere about NASTRA, and I said, that sounds like it'd be fun. And I saw George's name, and he said, come on over here. And so you were the one that actually got me started on this a long time ago.
Yeah, you called me, you said you had saw something about it.
I saw something somewhere and saw your number and I looked it up or something, and you said, come on over here.
Right.
So we got to be friends. That's been a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
A long time ago. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll keep doing this till we get to the point where we can't go anymore.
Oh yeah, this is all I want to do.
This is fun.
It's a
really
whole
fun.
lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
A lot of fun.
All right. Well, we
It's
appreciate
good family
you.
fun. We
It
need
is.
more people to get involved because a lot of the older people, you know, we're getting old.
That's right.
And we need younger people we need to recruit some younger people to join the organization because it's good, wholesome family fun. You can see we got kids here today and wives and everything, you know.
Yeah.
And,
If anybody wants to join, we can call George,
look it
call
up.
me,
NST,
whatever.
yeah.
And just look up NSTRA on the
On the
internet.
computer, go to your internet and look it up and you can get all the information.
Right.
It's a national organization.
Yeah, it's all over the country. So, but anyway, we appreciate you letting us come out today.
Oh, we welcome you anytime.
And I'd like to thank you for watching today on behalf of East Alabama Cable TV, Channel 7. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Torgar, for getting up early this morning and coming out here. And see you next week.